Last time we told you 8 truths nobody taught you. Today, 3 more. About your father, about freedom, and about the music you listen to. Let us begin. Tunde slams his school bag onto the wooden table. The sound echoes against the walls. His father stands by the window, his hands calloused and stained with engine oil. Tunde, Dad, you do not understand anything. The world has changed. You are stuck in the past. His father does not turn. He only shifts his weight. Father, one day you will understand, Tunde. Tunde, understand what? That you work all day and come home too tired to even speak to us? Father, I come home tired because I work for you, but you will see. The air in the room tightens. Tunde does not wait for a rebuttal. He grabs his bag, pivots, and storms toward the exit. He slams the door so hard the glass in the window frame rattles. His father remains by the window, staring out at the street, his hands still clenched at his sides. The silence that follows is heavy, thick with the weight of words that cannot be taken back. 10 years later. The apartment is small, the walls thin, and the air smells of baby powder and stale sweat. Tunde stands in the center of the room, cradling a wailing infant. The sound is sharp, constant, and grating. His wife sits on the edge of the bed, her head buried in her hands, her shoulders shaking with exhaustion. She has not slept in 2 days. Tunde lowers his voice. I know. Give him to me. Go rest. She does not move immediately. She looks at the counter, where a stack of envelopes sits waiting. The rent is due Friday. Did you talk to your boss about the extra shift? Tunde stares at the infant, then at the wall. The silence between them is brittle. I start tomorrow. I will be working 6 days a week. She looks up, eyes wide. 6 days? When will you see us? Tunde has no answer. He watches her turn away, her movements slow and heavy. He looks at the pile of bills on the counter. The math is simple, and it is cruel. He holds the baby tighter as the cries continue, the walls of the room feeling smaller with every passing second. At 2 a.m., the apartment is finally quiet. The only light comes from the screen of a phone as Tunde sits on the floor, his back against the wall. He stares at the numbers on the display for a long minute, his thumb hovering over the call button. He presses it. The line rings twice. His father answers, his voice raspy with sleep. Tunde, it is 2 a.m. Is everything okay? Tunde closes his eyes. The breath leaves his lungs in a long, shaky exhale. I just wanted to say I am sorry. For everything I said when I was young, I did not understand. There is a pause on the other end, just the sound of static and a deep, steady breath. You understand now? His father asks. Tunde grips the phone tighter. Yes. His father's voice softens, losing its edge. That is all I ever wanted to hear. Now get some rest. You have work in the morning. Tunde nods to the empty room, a small, sad smile touching his lips. Just like you did, his father replies, a ghost of a laugh in his tone. Just like I did. Narrator, do not judge your father until you become one. Emeka stands at the head of a long dining table. His hands are buried under the wood, fingers gripping his own palms to hide the trembling. Across from him, his uncle stands, tapping a thick stack of university brochures against the table surface. The sound is rhythmic, persistent, and demanding. Emeka, I enrolled you in engineering. Classes start next month. Emeka feels the air leave his chest. He pushes back, his voice strained. But uncle, I want to study business. I have ideas. The uncle drops the brochures. He does not raise his voice, but the sharpness of his tone cuts through the room. Ideas do not pay rent. Engineering pays rent. I am paying your fees, so you study what I say. Emeka grips the edge of the table, his knuckles turning white. Uncle, this is my life. The uncle leans in, his shadow stretching across the table. Your life? Who is feeding you? Who put a roof over your head when your parents could not? Me. When you can feed yourself, you can choose. Until then, engineering. Emeka stares at the floor, unable to meet his uncle's gaze. He turns and walks out of the room, the weight of the decision pressing down on his shoulders like a physical burden. He retreats to his small room, the door clicking shut behind him, sealing him in his confined space. Years pass. The noise of the old house and the weight of his uncle's expectations have faded into memory. Emeka sits alone in a tiny, one-room apartment. The walls are bare, and the space is cramped, but the air belongs only to him. He moves to the small wooden table in the center of the room. He places a single plate of rice upon it. No one asked him to study engineering. No one demanded he pursue a specific path. He sits down, the chair scraping against the floorboards, and takes the first bite. The rice is plain, but it carries the flavor of his own labor. He looks around the room. There is no one to answer to, no one to demand a return on their investment. He takes another bite and smiles. The silence here is not empty. It is a weight he carries with pride. He has learned the lesson of the table. He has learned that real freedom begins the moment a man can feed himself. Even if the plate is small, it is a quiet, singular victory. He finishes his meal, sets the fork down, and exhales. Finally, at peace within the walls he paid for with his own hands. Sarah stands in the center of her bedroom. She cranks the dial on the speakers until the floorboards vibrate beneath her feet. The bass hits the room in waves, thick and relentless. She begins to move, spinning in tight, fast circles, her arms snapping out to catch the tempo. The sound fills every corner, drowning out the hum of the street outside. Her friend sits on the edge of the bed, watching the blur of motion. Sarah stops, breathless, and points at the speaker. "This song is so good. Turn it up!" She throws her head back, laughing, and resumes the dance. She does not stop to listen to the verses, nor does she track the melody for anything other than its pulse. The friend leans back, observing the frantic pace. "You listen to this song every day," the friend notes. Sarah pivots, her feet sliding across the wood. "Because it makes me feel good. The beat is crazy." She closes her eyes, leaning into the rhythm, consumed by the sheer force of the sound. She is entirely present in the physical thrill of the music, unaware of the narrative hidden within the lyrics. She dances to escape, caught in a loop of high-energy sound, feeling only the surface of the song. The room is dim. The sunlight barely cuts through the heavy curtains. Sarah sits on the edge of her bed, staring at the funeral program lying on the floor. The paper is crumpled, the ink blurred by the humidity in the room. Suddenly, the same song she danced to weeks ago begins to play through her headphones. The bass is the same, but the rhythm feels sluggish now. She freezes. Tears track through the dust on her face, carving clean lines into her skin. Her friend sits nearby, watching. "Do you want me to change the song?" the friend asks. Sarah shakes her head. "No, don't." She closes her eyes, focusing. This time, the beat is just noise. She hears the words for the first time. Every line, every verse, describes the exact hollow ache she feels in her chest. The song was never about the dance. It was about losing someone. She realizes she spent weeks celebrating the soundtrack of a tragedy. The realization hits with a physical weight, pulling her shoulders down until she is hunched over. She is not dancing. She is listening. And for the first time, she understands the price of the music she loves. 3 truths today. They sit heavy, but they clear the air. First, your father. He carried burdens you could not see. He endured the exhaustion of his days so your own path might be a fraction wider. Do not judge the man until you have stood in his boots and felt the weight of providing for another. Second, freedom. It is not found in the permission of others. It is found on your own plate. Whoever pays for your life owns the keys to your choices. Real independence starts when you provide for yourself, even if the meal is small and the struggle is long. Finally, the music. When the world is bright, you consume the beat. You let the rhythm carry you. But when the light fades and the silence grows, you finally hear the lyrics. You discover the meaning that was present all along, hidden under the noise. You were simply not ready to listen. Sacrifice, autonomy, and perception. These are the foundations of your growth. You know the truth now. You cannot return to the person you were before you heard it. We will see you next time.